How's everybody doing? Since I've gotten many emails and responses regarding the Z51 Wickers or the Z06 Wickers, I thought I'd make this video since I'm not the best at getting back to people. But before I get to that, a couple people asked me about the side markers. Super easy to do. Just turn the wheel to left or it's easier to the left, and it takes a star bit. We'll pull back the mud guard. You just get like a flat head and yank back the mud guard. Don't worry, not gonna break anything. And it takes 3 star bit screws, and I don't know what size they are, probably like a 10. And once you do that, you literally pop out the side marker. You can disconnect it from that little cannon plug it's on and spray it. I did plastic dip, and I did 3 layers. Actually, I think it was 2 nice layers, and that still illuminates. I'll turn it on later. It still allows light to illuminate. So pull back the mud guard, take out the 3 screws, which are star bits, and pop out. It's kind of held by a clamp. Pop out the side marker, and you can disengage it from the wire set and apply the paint. Let me see if I'm right here. Oh, the star bits are on the mud guard. I apologize. Super easy to do. I'm sure you guys can definitely figure it out. So, on to the big question. And last video I had, I didn't have anything done to the car, but I did put the Borla X pipe on it. It sounds real nice. It's just the X pipe. Me and my buddy took us about 3 hours to do. Put it on a stand and jacked it up and removed everything. Put the X pipe. Sounds a little better. As far as performance wise, you're not going to feel anything. Maybe a tiny hair bit of better response, but the sound is better. I'll turn it on for you. So I know there's not much light. Let me see if I can get my other phone here. As far as the wickers, okay, so I got them at Trunk Monkey Parts, and they are the stage 2 wickers. So to install these, let me get a better light on here. I painted them black. Okay, so they will be mostly flush, as you could tell. Okay. For the holes, I just had these black screws that I just kind of cut the top off the black cheap screws, and I glued them just to cover up the holes. You're not going to use the holes on both the furthest side. So this hole will not be used. This one can be used, this one can be used, this one can be used, and this one will not be used, okay? As you can tell, it's pretty flush, okay? Here's a view from this way, okay? That's how it's, sorry, there's a bunch of bird shit and butterflies over here in Texas right now. That's how it's gonna kind of look inside. Okay. These wickers are malleable. They will bend. Do not be afraid to bend them a little bit. Okay? They will bend and contour to the original blade. So, to install these, this is what I did. First, I open the hatch, and when you open it, oh, they got my keys. Hey, when you open it, right? You're gonna remove this covering right here, and then there's screws down in here that hold the original blade to the body. There's probably about 12 screws that hold the original blade to the body. Once you remove all those screws, the original blade is gonna come off. Now I gotta step back because I forgot a step. So, I've been drinking. So, before you remove the blade, what I did was I actually got the wickers and I mounted it up this by hand to the original blade, and I just put little white dots where I'm gonna drill the holes, okay? Just like a little marker or a little paint pen, just these white dots where I'm gonna drill the holes, both sides, and then I went on to removing this. After I removed the screws, I removed the blade, we got the blade, and what we did, I can explain this. underneath the blade is a hard surface, right? So you can't access eternally from inside the blade without drilling the underside of the blade. So the underside of the blade is completely closed off, right? You can't go inside of it. So what I did, if you're a really good craftsman man, drill a opening to gain access inside the original blade. From there, after you drill a hole in the opening, I drilled the holes, these 3 holes for the wicker. Once I drilled those 3 holes for the wicker, and I also drilled a pretty big opening to gain access inside the original blade, I installed the retainers, or the rivets you should call. So do not use self-tapping screws. But say, oh, I want to skip this and I don't want to take off the original blade, I don't want to go underneath it. If you use self-tapping screws and you simply install the wickers onto the original blade with self-tapping screws, the wickers will become loose from vibration and driving, and the self-tapping screws will eventually unloosen themselves. Okay, so this is the only way to do it. It's going to take time, and it's going to take a little patience and a couple beers. If you have a good shop, then even better. Now, furthermore, once if it helps, I went to AutoZone, and they had a license plate like bracket kit, which had like little retainers and screws that matched up with it. And what I did was, after I got access to underneath the belly of the blade, I put the retainers and I installed them on the blade, right in the blade right here. And then after that, of course, when the rivets are installed, I set the blade up, the wicker up, and I screwed it on in, just how you think it would screw on. I know I might not explain this the best. I know I could probably explain it better with photos, but sadly I don't want to take this thing apart. So, buy the wickers from Trunk Monkey Parts, okay? Then align the wickers and make dots on where you want to drill the holes. Do not worry about these last 2. They will not mount up. This is for a Z06, not a Z51, but since we're badass, we're going to do it. After you do that, remove the blade. After you remove the blade, gain access eternally by, cutting out or just screwing a big enough hole to get your tiny finger in there and install the rivets after you drill those little tiny holes. And then once you do that, just set it back down and install the wickers with the screws. And it might take a little bit of finesse, it might take a little bit of adjusting to get them equal, but you can do it. And I will show you videos of the X pipe, but I don't have my keys. So you guys, if you have any more questions, please shoot them on the comments. Eventually I get back to them. I hope this helps a little bit understanding